I want you to think about the last time something good happened to you. Not huge, just good. A raise, a new client. You hit a number you'd been chasing. Now, who was the first person you told? And how did they react if there was even a half second of hesitation before they smiled? If the congratulations felt just slightly flat? If they immediately found something to say after "that's great" to move the conversation along? You already know what this video is about. But here's the thing, nobody in this space is willing to say out loud. The problem is not them. The problem is that you keep telling them. And today, I'm going to explain exactly why, using a psychological concept that will make you look back at the last 5 years of your life completely differently. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah and Megan had been friends for 15 years, grew up in the same neighborhood, same school, every Friday night without fail. When Sarah started training seriously and changed her body, Megan started making jokes. "Oh, so you can't eat pizza anymore? Look at Miss Fitness over here." When Sarah decided to start a business, Megan said, "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" When Sarah got a small mention in a local newspaper, nothing major, a tiny article, Megan didn't share it, didn't say anything, just ignored it. And then one night at dinner, Megan said out loud, "I don't even know who you are anymore." Sarah went quiet. She thought it was an insult, but it wasn't. It was the most honest thing Megan had ever said, because she knew Sarah perfectly. It was herself she no longer recognized. And this has a name, and it's not jealousy. It's something much deeper and much more uncomfortable to accept. Here's something I want you to picture, you and your closest friend. 5 years ago, same apartment, same problems, same complaints about the same job. Now picture today, you're not in the same place anymore. Different income, different habits, different conversations you want to have. Now here's the question nobody asks. What happened to the friendship the moment you started changing? And they didn't. In social psychology, this is called identity threat. And it's not jealousy. Jealousy is, I want what you have. Identity threat is darker. It's, if you can do it, then my not doing it is a choice I made. And I have to live with that. Your growth doesn't just make them feel behind. It makes the last 5 years of their life feel like a decision they have to justify. Think about that. You didn't say anything. You didn't criticize them. You just showed up differently. And that silence, that gap between who you are now and who you used to be, is louder than anything you could have said. Here's the number that broke this open for me. People who go through major life transitions lose an average of 40% of their close friends within 2 years. Not through fights, not through betrayal, just drift. Because when you change, the shared identity that held the friendship together, we're the same, we're in this together, quietly disappears. You didn't leave them. You just became someone they don't recognize in the mirror anymore. Now here's the part nobody says out loud, because up until now, I've been talking about other people, but I need to ask you something. Have you ever hidden an achievement so you wouldn't make someone feel bad? Have you ever lied about your income downward to avoid tension? Have you ever pretended to be doing worse than you actually were so someone else could feel better? If you said yes to any of those, and almost everyone does, then you're the one doing the betraying. This has a name. It's called downplaying, and we do it out of kindness, we tell ourselves, to protect other people's egos. But what we're actually doing is insulting our own work and treating the people around us like they're too fragile to handle our reality. Oprah Winfrey said in an interview that for years, she would minimize her success at family dinners. She'd change the subject when people asked about the show. She'd downplay the numbers. The moment she stopped was when she realized something simple. By trying to protect them, she was telling them they couldn't handle the truth. So yes, you're betraying your friends, but you're betraying them by letting them believe you can stay small to make them feel big. There are 3 types of people who show up in your life when you start to grow. And what I'm about to say about each of them is different from what you've heard before. The comforter. This person tells you you're already enough. You don't need to grind yourself down. You already have so much. And you listen. You know why? Because part of you wants to believe it. Part of you wants a reason to stop pushing. The comforter isn't sabotaging you. They're giving you exactly what you asked for without saying it. The skeptic. This one always asks, are you sure? They question your plans. They remind you of the risks. Now notice something. They're usually the first person you tell your plans to. Unconsciously, you choose to share with someone who will push back because if you don't follow through, you have a ready-made excuse. They said it was too risky. The skeptic doesn't stop you. You use them to stop yourself. The ghost. This person simply disappears when you grow. No explanation, no fight. This one is probably the most honest of the three. At least they're not pretending. You don't choose your friends by accident. You choose them partly for what they allow you to be or what they allow you not to be. There's a reason the thumbnail of this video says, "Don't make friends, make enemies." It's not an empty provocation. It's an idea that once you understand it, you can't unsee. A productive enemy is not someone you hate. It's someone whose success bothers you enough to make you move. You respect each other. You might even like each other, but neither of you wants to fall behind. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates spent decades in open rivalry. Both publicly admitted the other made them better, that the competition pushed them further than comfort ever could. Two of the greatest operating systems in history were built out of that tension. Now think about your day-to-day life. There's that colleague who got the promotion you wanted, who closes more deals, who always seems one step ahead. Instead of resentment, use it. Your brain works far harder for survival than for abstract ambition. Envy, when used with awareness, is a more powerful engine than any motivational speech you'll ever hear. Friends tell you that you can, enemies prove you have to. I'm not going to give you a list of habits. You've seen that video. It didn't change anything. What I'm going to give you is 3 uncomfortable shifts, because the problem was never that you didn't know what to do. The problem is you kept doing the thing that felt safe. Shift 1, stop performing your growth for people who aren't growing. Every time you share a win with someone who's standing still, you're not looking for celebration. You're looking for permission. Permission to believe it's real. Stop outsourcing that. The win was real before you told anyone. Shift 2, let some friendships die quietly. Not every relationship needs a conversation, a confrontation, or a closure. Some friendships were built for a version of you that no longer exists. Letting them fade isn't betrayal. Forcing them to survive is. The most respectful thing you can do for someone you've outgrown is stop pretending you haven't. Shift 3, get close to someone who makes you feel behind. Not to compete, not to copy, but because comfort is the most dangerous environment for growth. Find someone whose progress makes you slightly uncomfortable to be around, then stay close. That discomfort is the most honest feedback you'll ever get. Throughout this video, I've talked about friends who don't want you to win, but the most uncomfortable truth isn't that. The most uncomfortable truth is this. Do you actually want to win badly enough to accept what it's going to cost? Because winning costs friendships. It costs comfort. It costs the version of you that other people had decided you were. And a lot of people get right up to that edge and step back. Not because they're not capable, but because nobody told them it was supposed to cost something. Tell me in the comments, what's the moment you back down because someone else was uncomfortable with your progress? You don't have to name them, just describe the situation, because I'm willing to bet you're not the only one.